Hi everyone, this is Tuplex. Welcome back. Today we're going to tackle nuclear power. So there's a few things that I want to show you. The first of which, I added a little extension to the mall here that creates the items that we need to build the power plant. So, well, I've got centrifuges here for processing. All the items we already have on the bus, except for the gears. So we're making the gears up there. So I'm just making a stack of centrifuges. I'm making nuclear reactors, heat pipes, heat exchangers, and the steam turbines. And I've got these chests limited based on the design that I'm planning to use. And let me show you that. This is my own design. And this is 4 reactors that will yield 466 megawatts. Now, those of you who are fairly astute will say that 4 reactors should give me, what is it, 480 megawatts? 40, 160, I think it's 480. The reason I'm not getting 480 is because I'm actually short by about 4 turbines. But I wanted to keep it that way because many times when I've tried to build a nuclear reactor setup, whenever it tries to operate at full capacity, I get problems where steam stops driving the turbines and so on and so forth. So with this design, even though I'm not quite getting the maximum amount of output that I could from the reactors, it is completely stable even when the turbines are all being driven at 100%. So that's what I like about this. And we'll get more into the design later. One of the features of this design is that it uses 2 solar panels and 2 accumulators to power the fuel inserters. So that way, if we ever have a power outage, I'll still be able to automatically insert more fuel. Or if we have a fuel shortage, for example, it'll be able to insert more fuel. I'll get more into the design later on, but you know, there's a lot of things we have to do first. The first of which is to mine the uranium. So this is all work that I've been doing offline just because, you know, I didn't want to take like 3 or 4 episodes just setting up nuclear power, especially with a lot of this, you know, a lot of the more menial tasks that I'm doing here. Okay, so in order to mine the uranium, I need acid. Okay, so I just started making sulfuric acid down here. You know, I'm just pulling sulfur off of my sulfur line. I brought in a belt with iron plate, and for now I just have a single machine making that. And we can add more machines if needed. I can just extend the iron belt over this way, and everything will be good. Okay, that's going into 4 tanks for storage. I thought about using a train to pick up the sulfur, but it's really not terribly far to get to where my minuscule uranium patch is, which is over here. We'll go over there in a minute. So I need to get from here over to there, and I figured, you know, it seemed like a lot of trouble to set up a train station somewhere to pick it up, and then I need to add a fluid depot and blah, blah, blah. So I figure for now I'll just put a pump on the tank and run it up in some pipes. So the pipe comes up here, all the way up, and then I make a left turn, and here I actually run it down the center of the path in between the 2 rails. That seems like a good place. And then we get up here to the mining. Okay, so it's a very small mine, as I mentioned, and so far that's the only uranium I have on the map. I don't see any more uranium anywhere, which has me a little bit nervous, I must say. Actually, resource patches are quite far away from one another on this map. And I don't know if that's because of the space exploration settings or what, but yeah, they're all quite far, which is going to require some long train routes, I think. But I'm hoping to find some more uranium pretty soon. But in the meantime, I just set up the drills, fed them with the acid. Any drills that are touching one another will pass the acid between them, so you only need to hook up one. Like, so in this case, the acid hooks up to these two drills since they're isolated. All of these are all connected. So it goes up here, it travels through all these, and then up here and feeds the ones on the top. Okay, so it's pretty easy to get them all fed. You don't have to connect a pipe to every single one, fortunately. And then I have these belts merging. And here's a little trick I do sometimes, just because, like, if I don't know, if you ever notice, if you put some stuff on a belt, let's say it's landfill, because you're trying to merge two belts together, you get this little bit of material here stuck on the output side of the belt. And I don't like seeing that there, because that's just wasted material. So what I do is I just filter that side, and I just have it filter. I just use a deconstruction planner because A, it's extremely unlikely that you'll ever be putting deconstruction planners on a belt, and B, it's a nice red square, which is a good visual. Now, the old icon for the belt immunity equipment was even better, because that was like, it was like a transport belt with a red X on it. That was perfect, but the icon is different now. So I just used the red square, and then that keeps this little part clean, you know, for people like me. Okay, so the uranium comes up here to these 6 centrifuges, and I put 6 because if I run the calculations on my mine, I'm getting 273 per minute coming out, and with these 6, I can process 300 a minute. Okay, so 6. Actually, I wonder if I don't think even 5 would do it, but anyway, 6 is enough to eat up everything that comes out of that mine. So I thought that sounded good. The last 2, of course, don't run at full speed because they're just getting, you know, the leftover fractions, but this is enough machines to keep this going. These process uranium, and most of the time we get uranium-238, which is the dull colored uranium, and every once in a while, about once every 100 cycles, we get lucky and we get uranium-235, which is the bright green colored one. And that is obviously it's the most scarce, since there's only a 0.7% chance of getting that. And that's the key to making the nuclear fuel that we need for the reactors. Okay, so this goes up this long belt. I left a lot of room here so that I can expand my processing as the need presents itself. I can just add more centrifuges, extend this belt, and join it up higher. And then, of course, I also have room on the edges, or I can put beacons with speed modules and stuff like that. So this should be easily expandable. And then I just have it coming up here and dumping into a warehouse, as you can see. And then next to the warehouse, I set up another centrifuge, which is making Coverx enrichment. Okay, so once I let this run for a little while, and once I got the 40 uranium-235s that I needed to drive this process, I'm sure you're all familiar with it, but just in case you're not, what this does is it takes 40 uranium-235 and 5 238s, and it turns it into 41 uranium-235 and 2 uranium-238s. So at first it might seem, what's the point of this? We're getting the same outputs as we are inputs, but essentially what it's doing is it's taking 3 uranium-238s and converting it into 1 uranium-235. Okay, and then I'm running this directly off the warehouse, which makes it easy to keep running. And then to minimize downtime between cycles, since there are 45 ingredients to put in and 43 ingredients to take out every single time, which takes a couple seconds even if you're using stack inserters. To make that go faster, I set up these Miniloaders. Okay, so this one moves the 235 from the warehouse into the machine. This moves the 238 from the warehouse into the machine. If I don't use a filter, then the Miniloaders will just fill up with 238, and then the 235 won't be able to get in. So that's why I have 2 separate ones with filters. And then I just have one on the output. Okay, so the output dumps out into the warehouse, and then it just sucks in what it needs. I put in 2 productivity module 2s. I did craft, just because those are easy to make, right? I don't need batteries or anything. To do that, I did need to craft 2 blue circuits. I have the ingredients to make blue circuits. I just needed sulfuric acid, right? So all I did is I just took one of my assembly machines. I stuck it right there, told it to make blue circuits, and I just pulled the acid from there and put in my ingredients. So I got the two blue circuits to make productivity level 2s. We could do level 3s, but those will take a while to craft, and I would need to make batteries and stuff. So for now, I just put in productivity module 2s. And then I put in a basic beacon, which is this little guy here, which we also have all the ingredients to make already. So I made one of those, and I filled it with level 1 speed modules. So this gives me, let's see, these beacons, the vanilla beacons only take 2 modules. These take 8, as you can see. I guess that's a space exploration change. So each one of the modules gives me a 20% speed boost. Times 8 is 160%. But then the transmission efficiency, distribution efficiency is 50%. So it's essentially giving the effect of 4 level 1 speed modules to this machine, which boosts its crafting speed to 1.5, which is a 50% boost. Okay, so it not only counteracts this negative speed effects of the productivity modules, which is minus 15% each. So we got minus 30% there. So the 80% we're getting from this counteracts the minus 30 and gives us an additional 50. So this is now running at a cycle time of 40 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, instead of 60. So that just cranks out the uranium a little bit faster. Okay, now you see there's 51 uranium in there, and there's 40 being processed. Okay, so in total, I've got 40 that we need for the machine, plus another 52 is getting fed in. So whenever I need more uranium fuel cells, I can grab the uranium that's in there and turn them into fuel cells. Or I can just wait a while. Once this gets above 80, then it'll leave fuel cells behind in the warehouse. And then I can use that to take some out and make fuel from it. Okay, so that's how all that works. This process is really necessary. And actually, now that I have this going, and now that I have a lot of extra uranium, I could even add more of these machines. I could add one more of these machines, and that would get me even more uranium. I'll probably do that later. We don't need it right now because our power requirements are not that great. Okay, so I handcrafted 60 uranium fuel cells just with a few pieces of uranium, 6 pieces of uranium. So with 1 uranium-235, 19 uranium-238s, and 10 iron plates, you can craft 10 uranium fuel cells. Each fuel cell has 8 gigajoules of energy, and it'll run a single reactor for 200 seconds. Now, since my blueprint is using 4 reactors, that means that I can run this setup for 200 seconds divided by 4. Well, I mean, we're not going to use a single fuel cell, but essentially I'm going to use 4 fuel cells every 200 seconds to run all 4 reactors, which is averages out to 1 every 50 seconds. Okay, so I'm going to need one of these fuel cells every 50 seconds will be consumed, which means I need to make almost 4 per minute, which I should be able to do with this. This is giving me 1.68 every minute. Okay, and with that I can make 10 fuel cells. Well, I can make more, you know, on average. So this will be enough to keep my first reactor setup going. All right, so now we just need to set up the reactor. And that's where things start to get a little more challenging. Fortunately for us, we have lots of water right here. So I think what I'm going to do is set up a grid square. I'll do it right here. And then I'm going to have to apply some landfill to fill in this corner. And I'm going to need all the stone and everything. So let me go grab a bunch of stone brick for the path and a bunch of landfill. Okay, there's my stone brick. Keep going. Okay. We're full of stone brick now. It should be more than enough. And then my landfill is down here. I'll put my stone brick in there, and then that way I can fill up with landfill as well. And we'll go start putting that in place. Now, I want to set up my reactors where there's lots of water, because then I have a big shoreline, and that makes it easy to set things up. I'm going to need more cliff explosive too. I only have 3 of these with me. Okay, so let's start in the landfill portion. Okay, we'll want to fill in here. And we'll want to go up to there. Yep. Hope I have enough to do this. Landfill disappears surprisingly quickly. Okay. Good. And we'll need to probably fill in these other little bits of water here so that we have room for the reactors. Okay. Now let me throw down that blueprint again. Huh. Okay. I missed a bunch. Well, I've still got a little bit more landfill. Don't know if this will be enough. One, two. Come on, baby. There we go. Let's try that again. Okay, now it's filled in. Okay, and now we can start deploying the stone, which I'll do mostly manually with help from the bots. Maybe not as much help as I thought. Whoops. Okay, and we're out of brick. So we need to get more brick. Let's wait for these fellas to finish up. Alright, we'll need more landfill right there. Is that water? No, that's not water. There is a bit of water up here, though. Okay, so we need cliff explosives. We need several more stacks of brick. What else? Bunch of other stuff. Okay, here's the brick. I don't know if that's going to be enough. Okay, that should be enough. Oh yeah, cliff explosives. See if I can remember where I'm making those. Is it down here, right? Yeah, there we go. Only 71 left. And oh, okay. We need steel to make more of those. There we go. Give it a stack of steel so we can use more barrels. Here, I don't need to bring all that. 2 stacks should be more than enough. Alright, so we'll take care of that and then I'll come back for the reactor stuff. Maybe I ought to use a car as well too. I know I have one. I think I put my car in the warehouse and then I can use the trunk so I can carry more stuff without having to make so many trips because my backpack is pathetically small. I need to remove that. There we go. Okay. That's all good. Let's give some ammo. Let's clear everything out. I'll just clear everything out of the top half here, since that's where I'm going to put my first reactor array. And when I place the blueprint, that should take care of the cliffs. And I'm going to I'll put a generous amount of ammo in there, since I still don't have any automated way to refill these things. Not until I get robotics. And we don't really want to lose this to meteors because it's all rather expensive. Okay, so let me grab my blueprint. And I'm going to set it up so that it rests in 1/2, and so that we can easily get our pipes fed to the water out here at the edge. Now this, where my cursor is, ought to be the center point of this blueprint. Let me turn on the grid so I can get this lined up just right. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So this ought to be the center. I've got 3 tiles there and 3 tiles to the meteor defense. Let's go one more tile so we don't interfere with the power poles. And click. Okay, and the bots will take care of the cliffs for me. Let's make some solar panels. I'm going to need 2 of those. Okay, I need to get glass. I'll need to make the solar panels and the batteries. I also need to craft substations. Whoops, no, substations. There we go. Only need 6 of those. Alright. We'll just have to wait for the crafting of the copper cables. And I think I'm going to want to... I'll probably want to reverse the direction of these belts. So yeah, it's belt fed for now. Although it can easily be converted to feed fuel with robots. That won't be a problem. Am I out of... Oh, I'm out of medium power poles too. Let me craft a couple more of those, so we get as much of this done as we can before we come back with the other stuff. Okay, so this is all connected now. I think all the pipes are taken care of. Okay, so I'm going to need 8 offshore pumps. There's 8. Let me craft some more pipes. Okay. Now, we don't necessarily need to have precisely 8 offshore pumps. In fact, I wonder... I'm not quite sure how much water this consumes. Well, once we set it up, we'll confirm. We'll do the pumps later on, after we get the rest of it set up. Okay. So let's go make, we need to make 2 solar panels and 2 accumulators. So let's go grab some glass. We've got that on the bus. Okay, there's 1, 2. And then to make the batteries, okay, I just need iron, copper, and sulfuric. That's no problem. And for now, I'm just going to handcraft a few. Okay. And how many of those do I need per accumulator? Where are they? Okay, so we'll need 10 batteries in total. All right, that's enough for the first one. Wait a couple more moments. 4 and 5. There we go. Okay, so we got that part taken care of. Now let's let's start hauling up our nuclear components, or our nuclear power plant components, I should say. Okay, and I've limited these chests to give me exactly what I need for that blueprint. So 92 heat pipes, 80 turbines, 48 heat exchangers, and 4 reactors. So that way whenever I build one, I'll already have all the components I need set up. So I'll take the reactors, I'll take the heat pipes, I'll take the heat exchangers, and I'll take the turbines. Okay, and it looks like I'm able to carry it all. And then it'll start building the next batch for when I'm ready to add more electricity. Easy peasy. And then we'll confirm water consumption requirements here. We could always just overkill it and put 8 pumps down, but I'm guessing we probably won't need all 8. Okay, and I'll go through the details of the design in more detail once we get it up and running. You know, I spent maybe 30 minutes or an hour just working on this design in creative mode and testing it and everything. Okay, so we'll start with the reactors. You probably all know that a single reactor will give you 40 megawatts of heat energy, which you can convert into steam power. Okay, and that 40 megawatts, the 8 gigajoules divided by 40 megawatts. 1 megawatt is 1 megajoule per second, right? So if you do the math, that's where you get the 200 seconds per fuel cell figure that I've talked about. Now, one disadvantage of feeding this with belts is that if the belts are not full, you'll have an issue. So ideally, you would have the fuel going in a loop, unless you just make enough to completely fill the belt, which is probably what I'll do eventually, but not right now. So what I can do for now is just loop this around. And actually, we don't even need to extend it that far. I'll just set up a loop like this. Okay, now this is designed so that the nuclear fuel is going to be on the right side of this belt, which is the outside of this belt. Let's see. Yeah, so I can feed it with a chest like that. And that'll go on that side of the belt. Yeah, so that's so the spent fuel can go on the other side. Okay, and I'll just add another power pole here for that. And again, this is... I should stop doing temporary stuff. What do I need to do this? I need to make the fuel cells and then get it over here on a belt. And then loop it. So why don't I do that? Okay. So here's what I can do instead. I can feed it in here and then it'll loop around and it'll be stuck in the loop until I'm ready to get rid of it. and then I can filter this side so that only the used fuel cells come out. And I can throw those, well, we can send them, and then we'll send those back. Okay, so let's do that. And I think I will convert this to a bot-based system as soon as I'm able to do so. All right, 1, 2. Hopefully I've got enough belt here. Oops. Okay, and now I'm just starting to run out of basic stuff, like underground belts. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's clear out some trees so I can see what's going on. All right. Okay, so now, looks like the uranium is now starting to accumulate, which is good. All right, and then the nuclear fuel cell is made in a plain old assembly machine. Like that. And I've got some level 1 productivity modules, I'll throw those in there. This needs iron plate, which I can only feed manually right now. So I could just do something like this. I just want to make sure that it's not going to start stealing. Well, what's the cycle time on this? 10 seconds. So this machine should be able to make its exchange in and out in less time so that this one just doesn't start consuming all of the available uranium, if you know what I mean. Oh, let's make sure this is going on the right side of the belt. Okay. So if it goes on the top side... son of a... Oh, I can't see. Okay, the top side. Now it's on the left side. Now it's on the top side. Now it's on the right side. Right side. Yeah, okay. That's the side that I want it to be on. Okay, and I'll just put in these fuel cells that I've already made as well. Well, here I can just drop them here on the belt. And it's out of iron. Okay, so I'll need to come up with more iron plate before we get anything else done. All right, and then the used uranium, well, in this case, it's only going to be used up fuel cells coming out of here, right? Yeah, I'm going to want to convert this to bots. This is going to be too much of a pain, I think. All right, so here, let's just stop that. We'll let it loop around, and then when the used fuel cells come by, I'll just throw them into a chest. I'll use a filter inserter, which I can't make because I'm so bereft of the materials I was making during the first 5 minutes of the game. iron plate, copper plate, iron plate, copper plate. How about some green circuits? Those would be nice too. I picked up a bunch of engines, which I don't really want. Okay. We'll turn the engines into pumps. Those are always handy. And then I can... Okay, no, that's going to take forever. Oh yeah, filter inserter. All right, so we'll use a filter inserter to take the used fuel cells off the belt manually. Where is my filter inserter? Okay, so we'll put that right there. We'll set that to used up uranium fuel cell, and we'll just put those in the chest. Okay. And let me just make sure. Okay. I just want to make sure that I can support this extra inserter. I should be okay. It's not going to run very often. I've got 60, 120 kilowatts of generation. And then I've got 8, passive consumption. I've got 8 at 400 watts, which is 3.2 kilowatts. Okay, yeah, this is fine. So this should still be more than enough to run this, as well as the lights. 2 panels and 2 accumulators. Right, and as you can see, this is separate from the rest of the power network. Okay, so the first thing that's going to happen is these reactors are going to get up to temperature. There. Clean that up. Okay, so the reactors are going to get up to temperature. They need to reach 500 degrees. Once they get to 500 degrees and the heat propagates down these heat pipes, it'll start to heat up the heat exchangers, the water in the heat exchangers. They'll create 500 degree steam, and that'll drive the turbines. But we need to give them some water first. So let's see if we can figure out how much water they consume. 37, okay, let's look at per second. All right, so 618 per second. 2 sets of this will use 1237 per second, and that is a little bit more than what we can get away with on a single pump. So I think having 8 offshore pumps is still overkill, but it'll be okay. We could get by with less, but then it's not going to be like an even distribution, if you know what I mean. Okay. Okay, and then down here, I will have to move these up a bit. Like so. Okay. Jeez. Now I'm like pretty much out of pipes as well. Okay, so we'll put that there. That'll feed up to that one. This one, like that. This one, like that. And this one, like that. 4, 5, 6. God, I hope I have enough. we'll have to power these. And ideally, these would be independently powered as well. And I need 2 more of those underground pipes. So we could expand the solar. These are going to take 50 kilowatts each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times 50 is what, 400 kilowatts? Yeah, 400 kilowatts. So that would actually take a lot of solar. All right, so I think I will just run these off of the main grid. There's 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And we can see that the temperature is quite high, and the turbines are coming to life. And now we have 538 megawatts of electrical capacity. Okay, so as I was saying earlier, each one of these reactors by itself can make 40 megawatts. But when you put reactors next to one another, they get what's called a neighbor bonus. So this reactor, for example, has 2 neighbors. Diagonal neighbors don't count, just the ones that are off to one side. So this reactor has 2 neighbors, and it gets 100% boost in output for each neighbor. Okay, so this one is actually giving us 120 megawatts, which is the original 40 plus 100% for each neighbor. This one also has 2 neighbors, right? So each of these has 2 neighbors. So even though we only have 4 reactors, we're actually getting the output of 12 reactors, which is where the 480 megawatt theoretical maximum comes from. But because I don't have enough steam turbines to take advantage of all 480 megawatts, these can put out 5.8 each. So it's slightly limited in that regard, and that helps to ensure that it runs well. Because like I said, if you just let it run flat out to its maximum limit, it starts to behave in a funny way. The steam doesn't flow right, and some of the turbines stop working. And but I did test this at full load. Like I said, I ran it in creative mode for a while, and I put on a passive power sink, which basically just sucks up as much power as can be generated. And I let it run for about 15 minutes, and the output was completely stable the entire time. So this should work. Now you can get, by having more reactors, for example, if I did, well, I can't do it there. Let me come down here. If I did 2 by 3, I would get even more neighbor bonus, because then these ones in the middle would get a neighbor bonus from 3 neighbors. 1, 2, 3. So this one would have 400% output, and then the ones on the ends would each have 300%. So that would be more efficient in terms of output. But then it would also require a lot more heat exchangers and steam turbines to all be hooked up. And I think a 2 by 2 is a good sweet spot in terms of getting, a 3 times multiplier on the output, and also having a relatively small and compact layout which, as you can see, fits quite well inside my production grid. And in fact, I can fit 2 of them inside one of these. So that's why I decided just to go with a 2x2, and I'll just multiply those as needed to get the power that we want. Okay, I'll get rid of those cliffs so that I have room already to place the next one. And then we can just continue to expand these grids all around this water, which is quite massive. And as we need power, we'll just keep adding more and more of them. Let me throw in a radar up here. Yay, I can actually craft one. I'll put the radar over here. I want that on the main grid and not for my fuel handling circuit. Okay, so these spent fuel cells, as they come out, we can turn those back into useful ingredients. Actually, I think I might need a centrifuge for that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do. Okay, let me go grab a centrifuge. Actually, I'll get 2 centrifuges so we can set up more Coverx enrichment. Alright, those are up here, and while we're here, we'll fill up on other stuff. Okay, I need belts. I need undergrounds. I need blue inserters. And I need power poles. Small and large. That's all I'm going to take for right now because I'm getting full again. Oh, I wanted 2 centrifuges, didn't I? Well, I'll do the other Coverx enrichment later on. Because I want to make the productivity modules too. Okay, and actually I should put the other one over here so that I can get the speed bonus on 2 centrifuges from the same beacon. But in any case, we'll set this up to fuel reprocessing. So this will take the used up fuel cells and turn them into uranium-238. Okay, so I can just put the used fuel cells in there. Here we need more iron. There's a little bit more. Let me go grab several stacks of iron. And I'll just throw those in the warehouse as well. Might as well just fill up. Oh, there it is. Whoops. Sorry about that. The J key for my jetpack kind of gets me confused. I keep wanting to hit enter like I would getting in and out of a vehicle. Okay. So we'll throw an iron plate. Get some out of my trash. Throw in some more iron plate. Give me that. Okay, and then I'll keep the rest for myself. So that'll give us plenty of fuel. And it'll likely use up all 19 of those. And we'll get a periodic production bonus. Okay, and then if we look at our main grid, we can see that we're getting 32 megawatts from nuclear and 5 megawatts from steam. Let's make sure we didn't get any massive damage over here. All right, not too bad. Okay, and now that we have that, we should probably start thinking about making this umbrella. That meteor defense thingy that we've been waiting to do. There it is. Okay, we're going to need batteries and we're going to need blue circuits. So I think blue circuits should be higher on our list. Let's do chemical science packs. Well, no, I need blue circuits for the chemical science packs. Okay. So let's do blue circuits. Flying robot frames. I think we've got what we need for those. Okay, we're going to need batteries. So let's do batteries. Let's do robots. Since we're going to have the batteries and the flying robot frames. So we'll do flying robot frames and chemical science packs in the same area. And then we need low density structures. Okay, so we need to do all those before we can do the chemical science packs. So we'll do batteries first, because that'll feed into the robot frames. Oh, and we need electric engines. Okay, so we'll do batteries, then robots, electric engines will be easy. So engines, batteries, then robots, then blue circuits, then low density structure, and then we can do chemical science packs. And then we can go from there. And after that, we'll be pretty close to launching a rocket, I think. Whew. Okay, so lots to do. We still have a little bit of fuel over here. Okay, let's add that to the to-do list too. Train refueling. Okay, I mean, since we're going to have bots at this point, you know what, I'm going to delete upgrade smelting. We'll just do that when the time comes. But once we have the bots, we can do train refueling with bots. And we can do nuclear refueling once we have bots. And then, you know, we can start to do all sorts of other interesting stuff once we get logistics system researched. And we have requester chests and logistics bots and stuff like that. So we'll probably need to spend some time setting up a base-wide robot network to take care of all these things. Okay, well, that's going to do it for today. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.